Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jada Blossom, and I have 4 fun fall cards to share. This is a bit of a longer video. Hey, so I'm using Jada Blossom's Clear Jar stamp set and the outline dies, along with the Clear Jar fall add-ons, Jada Blossom's Give Thanks stamp set, their Mason jar die, their basic word dies, the Fall Flourish stamp set, the birthday word dies, and the fall word dies. And I'm using the Fall Fever 6-inch pad from Echo Park. So I'm going to do some stamping on some Neenah Desert Storm 80-pound cardstock. And I'm using VersaFine Clara Nocturne ink. And I'm going to stamp in using my MISTI, like I said. There we go. And I'm going to stamp on each one. That one got a little bit of ink transfer on the middle, but I'm not too worried. These are going to be shaker cards. Next, I'm using the shaker die to cut it out using my Anna Griffin Mini Empress machine. There we go. And I'll take it out. And isn't that cute? Super cute stuff. So I went ahead and I did that 4 times. And I'm using some 1/8 of an inch score tape. And I'm just applying it to the whole frame of this. Nice thing about score tape is you can rip it off. So it makes it pretty handy for running it around. Now I'm going to add this onto some acetate. This is just some packaging, I believe from some 12-inch paper, if I'm thinking about it. And I'm just going to add it to this little window. So I'm going to have a shaker window, which is lots of fun. So I'm just peeling it all off. There we go. And fun stuff. So next I'm going to add that to this acetate, and I'm just going to trim around here. There we go. And I'll trim off the overhang here with a pair of scissors. And just sort of trimming in between the frame and the acetate, you know, trying to get it as, you know, get it right around the edge, nice and tight. And there we go. Isn't that fun? There we are. And I'm using some paper from that fall paper pad from Echo Park, Fall Fever. And I'm just going to be doing some trimming. So this one is 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front. So 4 1/8 by 5, and I don't know what that is, but 1/8 of an inch smaller. There we go. And I've got some other paper here, and I'll be using this paper for all of my cards. So I'm making all of these cuts 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front. There we go. And just using my Fiskars trimmer like I said. So I've got some Paper Tray Ink craft cardstock cut at 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches with my Martha Stewart scoreboard on my Teflon bone folder. So I do that 4 times. So all of these will be vertical A2 size cards. There we go. Isn't that fun? You gotta love, I kind of make all my cards this way. I like a vertical card, you know. It's my favorite. Okay, so I'm going to be working on the inside here. So I'm going to add some, I think this is Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock cut at 4 by 5.25 inches. And I'm just going to add those to the inside of my card bases with some HG tape. There we are. And I'll be adding 1-inch strips of paper from that Fall Fever 6-inch pad from Echo Park. You know, to the lower end of each card. And I will trim off that overhang with a pair of scissors. I'm always off screen for doing that, but you know, you get the gist. There we are. Now I'm going to be adding on some card fronts. So these, like I said, are 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card. Here we are. Not sure if I mentioned that I'm working on a Stampin' Up! Pad, doing all the normal things that I do making cards. So this one is like a nice sunflower design. I decided I had all of these, what are they called? the clear jar fall add-ons. I had them all colored. They were all stamped onto Neenah Desert Storm 80-pound cardstock. And then I colored them in with Copic markers. All the colors I used will be listed on my blog. I'm going to stamp a sentiment on the inside of each one. So this one will say Happy Thanksgiving. There we go. And I believe I used the Give Thanks stamp set. Next, I'm going to be adding on this nice plaid from that same Fall Fever 6-inch pad from Echo Park. But you saw that I cut it out of, I don't know why I'm having such trouble talking today, craft cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. So I did cut it out of that as well, just to make it a little bit thicker. I do that for all of the cards. Now I am just cutting some strips. So the paper, that yellow strip is also from that 6-inch pad. So I'm adding that onto a craft base. So this is like, I don't know, just a little bit wider than that fall word that I used. All the fall words, all the word dies that I used, I cut out of dark chocolate cardstock, and then I used vellum for the shadow layer. So I'm just using my 1/8 of an inch score tape to add this little fun scalloped border from Jada Blossom's Border Dies to the edge. There we are. And I'm going to add that to the front of my card. And I'm kind of looking to see how this is going to work out. There we are. And I'm going to add this to my card front. You see that I cut the bases of those jars out of Echo Park's. I believe it was the 12-inch matching solids from Sweet Day. It's an old line. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to use kind of like a blue, plain bluish kind of skyish background is what I was going for. So you could use whatever you want on the inside of your shakers. Now I'm just going to trim off that overhang with a pair of scissors. There we go. I always put a Post-it on the inside flap until that VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink dries on the inside, because otherwise it can smear, and I don't like that. Okay, so next I'm going to add on this Thanksgiving sentiment, and I'm just using my Bearly Art glue. You'll see that it was already put together with some vellum, like I mentioned, and dark chocolate cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. So I'm just sort of adding this Thanksgiving sentiment onto my card. You'll notice that it fits perfectly on a vertical A2 size card, or horizontal it'll work, right? If you have it, going the other way. There we are. And I will weight it down with an acrylic block. Now I'm going to get my little shaker jar assembled. So I'm going to add my little fabric jar topper to this jar. That's from that Mason Jar Dies. There we are. I love the stitching. I just think it looks cute. Added it with some ATG tape. There we are. And next I'm going to be using, these are Darice foam strips, but I don't even know if Darice sells them anymore, but a lot of companies do. It just makes it really easy to make a shaker card. So I'm just adding one layer of foam tape. You could cut up your own foam tape to do this. You could buy it from another company, whatever you want to do. But like I said, I don't think Darice has them anymore. I think Honeybee has them. There's so many different companies that have them. I'm pretty sure Honeybee sells them though, for sure. Okay, so I'm just getting, adding on my little foam strips. There we are. And I'm going to use some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to kind of fill in on the top of the jar there. There we go. And I do this with all 4 of my cards. There, and then I will add some shaker pieces to the inside just for fun. There. So that's pretty full of dimension. And my jar will stay nice and ready. So this is just a sequin mix. I don't even know who makes this anymore. It was just a yellow sequin mix. There we go. Next I'm adding these ones on. They're called Dress My Craft Gold Heart Sequins. I'm just adding these in, just for fun. Oops. And I gotta pick up my little foam hearts that kind of went awry. There we are. Oops, it's sticking to me. There. That's the hardest thing about making a shaker card, is that they want to stick to you. There we go. And I'm going to add my sunflowers that I pre-colored with Copic markers. Remember, all of them will be listed on my blog. There we go. Adding that to the inside of my jar. So not a lot of that blue shows, but I just wanted it to be, you know, different against the background. And I'm just going to line that up as well as I can. And there we go. There's my jar and there's my little sunflower. So it'll be a fun shaker. Next I'm pulling out, this is trendy twine. It's just craft colored twine. And I'm going to wrap that around my jar a couple of times. Sticking it down with some ATG tape. There we are. And I will add it on my card front with some ATG tape again. So easy stuff. And there we have it. And we'll add that to my card front. I didn't want to add any more dimension because I thought we had enough dimension going on. And now I'm going to add a little bow because why not, right? So I'm just going to tie that on. And there we have it. So we've got a cute little bow on the top of our mason jar. And I'll trim off those little tails with my scissors. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue behind there just so it doesn't move around. Not that I'm expecting it to, but you know, you never know, right? So I'm just going to clamp that down with my reverse tweezers while it dries. And now I'm going to add, this is a little, there's a separate sunflower stamp that I colored, and I have that added to the inside. That was also cut out with my brother's Scan and Cut with a 0.4 border. Next, I'm using some dark chocolate cardstock and Jada Blossom's embellishment cluster dies to cut out some hearts. So I'll cut those using my little Anna Griffin mini Empress machine that's on my desk. For the bigger stuff, I use the bigger one. I just love these machines. They've just been awesome. So I'm going to add some of these hearts with some Bearly Art glue. There we go. And my reverse tweezers. Like I always say, visual triangles, odd numbers, all that jazz. I'm going to add one to the center of that little bow as well, because why not? And two to the lower left-hand corner. There we go, just making sure things are straight. There we go. And there we go, isn't that cute? I just think that one turned out cute. So I'm going to decorate the inside of the next one here. Doing the same thing, adding a piece of white cardstock, 4 by 5¼ inches with some ATG tape. Then I'm going to add on my pattern paper from that Fall Fever 6-inch pad from Echo Park. Remember, you could use whatever fall paper you like. Remember, if you stick to paper from one line, it all matches in there. So, you know, use your own patterns. So there we are. So this is a fun leaf pattern. And I've got my little jar. So this one I'm going to be doing, using the word thankful and some paper from that 6-inch fall add-on. So I'm going to add a strip that's about, I don't know, 2 inches. And that this jar is going to go in the middle of my card. And I'm using a sentiment from the Fall Flourish stamp set on the inside. There we are. So I'll use my Misty to stamp it. There we are. And using VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink again. So may fall bring you many may fall bring you many blessings. That's what that one says. Next here, I am adding, or getting things ready here. Hold on. So this is my kind of card making. A lot of times I'll come up with a card design and I will create my card accordingly. So, and this was nice because I had all those fall images, the clear jar fall add-ons, already colored. So it makes things really easy and fast to do this. So I'm pulling out, sort of getting things ready here. So I cut this basically the width of the A2 size card. So I cut it like it's about 2 inches, I don't know, wide, I guess, by 4 1/8 inches. So it lines up with the paper that I had, as a card front. And then I'm going to use this scallop border die again from Jada Blossom. I'm using score tape because why not? It fits perfectly along that edge and it sticks really well. Just using my Teflon bone folder to make sure it was stuck down and I could easily peel it off. Now I'm going to add that to the front of that yellow pattern, just lining up the edges. And yeah, there we go. Then I'll trim that off with a pair of scissors. And then we'll have another card here in a GIF. There we are. And now I'm going to add the word thankful. Same thing, cut out of dark chocolate cardstock from Paper Tray ink. And the shadow layer is cut out of vellum. There we are. Just think it makes it pop a little bit. And I do weight it down with an acrylic block in between. So I added the little leaves to my card inside already, and I'm weighting it down with an acrylic block. I'm going to use the same Darice strips. Remember, you can use whatever you like. Just kind of lining around that fun little jar. All the Copic markers will be listed on my blog for those leaves. I'll have them divided into the different items. So I have 4 cards. One is leaves, one is acorns, one is apples, and one is sunflowers. And the colors will be listed for each one. Not that I'm a big colorist or anything. I certainly am not. But, in case you wanted to know, I know there's one of my cards that I assembled while I was doing all these things. I didn't have the list of Copics for you. Normally, when I color images, I'll write what colors I used, but I don't know what happened to that list for my poor pumpkins on one of my other cards that I did. So I kind of felt bad about that, but So I'm adding on those Dress My Craft gold heart sequins to the inside, along with Cartwright Moonshine sequins in 3mm. And then I'm going to add some, these are like a beige and brown sequin mix. I don't even know who makes them. So just adding all of those to the inside. And then there is my little background. I'm going to add on my paper topper again. I really like the topper for the mason jar dies with these little clear jar dies that Jada Blossom has. I just think it looks super cute. There we are. And I love like I always say I love the stitching. So I'm just going to add on some of that trendy twine again with some ATG tape. There we go. Go around 3 times. There we have it. And I'm going to use just one piece of twine and just to tie it. So we won't have a bow on this guy. We'll just have a little knotted string on this one. And I'll trim off the little tails. And there you have it. So I'm going to add that down onto my card front with some ATG tape. And I'll have this guy sitting in the center, which is fun. Whoops. I'll add the little extra leaf that I colored on the inside. Like I said, it was cut out using a Brother Scannon cut. I believe Jada Blossom has outline dies for these now. At the time, though, when I colored them, they didn't have outline dies. Now I'm going to add a little heart to the center of that little bow. And then I'm going to add some more of these little dark chocolate Paper Tray Ink cardstock heart dies. These are those embellishment cluster dies again from Jada Blossom, really handy. Just adding those to my card front. You know, visual triangles, all the things that I normally do. And there we go. Next, we got another card here. Same thing, same paper. I don't know, this is kind of redundant, I know, but I thought you'd, want to see my whole process. It's kind of nice when you come up with a card design, you can make 4, right? So I've got my paper. There we go. So I've got 2 more cards. I'm adding this leaf paper on both of them, cut 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front using the same Paper Tray Ink craft cardstock card bases, A2 sized. Oops, that's an adhesive eraser. That's your best friend. I'm going to assemble these 2 jars again, adding on my little plaid toppers. There we go. Adding on another plaid topper here with some ATG tape. There we go. I've got my 2 blue little backgrounds, and I'm going to stick my colored items to the inside. So this one is apples. I did use Secure White Jelly Roll pen for those highlights. And then this one is the acorns. Remember, those colors will be listed on my blog. Now I'm going to add on some Cartwright's Moonshine sequins in 3mm to the inside of these shakers. Here we are. Adding a few of those Dress My Craft Gold Heart sequins. I don't even know where I got those. I think they might have been a gift. But they're fun little sequins. I'm going to add a red mix sequins to my apples, and I don't know where they came from. And I'll be using these little Trinity Stamps chocolate chip hearts for my Eggcorn ones. Then I add my foam tape on, and then I'll assemble those 2. There we go. Aren't those cute? Super cute, right? They'd be neat little tags as well. You can just punch a hole in, the corner and add it to something with, with some twine. Next, I'm going to add on my trendy twine in craft. There we go. I'm going to go 3 times around. There we are. And, oops, and I realize, it's a little bit short. I'll just do 2 times around on that one. That's all right. Okay, so I've got a little extra Eggcorn and a little extra, what's it called? A little extra Eggcorn, a little extra apple that was colored with the same color markers. Next, I've got some paper. This is also from the Sweet Day 12-inch paper line. Remember that Echo Park, like a lot of companies, use a lot of similar colors that kind of straddle all of their paper lines. So if you get some solids to match one paper line, it's going to match other paper lines as well. So, I always hold on to those. So I added like a 2.5-inch strip basically to the bottom of each of these cards. And then I'm going to add my sentiments. One says grateful. And that was cut from dark chocolate cardstock and vellum. And I weighed it down. Then I've got a border die. This was cut from the Border Dies, Jada Blossom Border Dies from Paper Tray Ink craft cardstock. And I'm just going to add that right across just to fill up some space. I probably should have made that strip of paper a little bit thinner. So I'm just going to, add it here and there. Then I'll add my little jar. There we go. So we got the word grateful. I've got my little jar on. Now I'm going to tie a little bow here for my jar. And I will trim off the tails as well. There we go. Just making sure it's tied well. We'll trim off those tails, like I said. I think about adding my little acorn. There we go. So kind of fun, right? And now I'm just going to add a few of these little hearts again. Got to clear out my nozzle. Those are those dark chocolate hearts from Paper Tray Ink, and those are the embellishment cluster dies, like I said before. Just lining them up. So 2 in the upper right, 3 in the lower left. The nice part about these embellishment cluster dies is you can cut a bunch of them at once, right? There we are. So just trying to get things level. And there we go. And then I decide I do not like the acorn on the front. Because these are the things that Leanne does. I'll tell you, this is exactly what happens when I make cards. I put stuff on, I take stuff off. I leave it in the video so you can see just how indecisive I really am in real life. Because this is me. Okay, I'm going to add a little heart to the center of that bow. Then I will add on that little acorn to the inside. There we go, because why not? Now I'm going to do my second one. I'm using another border die for this guy. There we go. And then I'll add my little jar again with my ATG tape. And this was a really fun card. So my sentiment on this one will be give thanks. Just gotta try and get my jar on the front of my card. I don't want anything hanging off in this case. And I'm going to add a few of my chocolate hearts again. There we go. Just making sure things are straight, adding a couple to the lower right. Because why not, right? I just think this was a super cute. Still trying to decide what I'm doing with my apple there. I'm going to tie a little bow for this one instead of tying it on it. And then I will add that with some glue here in a moment. There's many ways to get this done. You can glue on your little bow after. I will clamp it down with my reverse tweezers just to make sure it dries flat. Next, I'm going to stamp a sentiment on the inside. There we go. I believe this one says Happy Fall. There we are. I believe this is the Give Thanks stamp set. It's got a nice bold, pretty fonts, stamped with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Not sure if I mentioned that, but I know I'm using the same for all 4. There we go. I'm gonna stamp that same Happy Fall. I love the fonts on this stamp set. It's just so pretty. There we are. I'm going to add my apple on my apple card. Because why not, right? And then I'm going to add on my little heart clusters again. There you have it. And just, I'll add one to the center of my bow as well, because why not? And so pretty, right? I just love these shaker cards, and I really love fall colors. It's just my thing. I'm just going to trim those tails a little bit shorter. Now on this one, I'm just pulling on my Secure White Jelly Roll pen in number 10, adding some highlights just for fun. And I'm going to add a few of these little embellishment cluster dies to the inside as well, because I have a few left over, right? So I might as well. So I'll add a few more of these to the insides of the cards. I like making the insides of my cards pretty as well. And it's pretty easy, right? A strip of paper and a few little die cuts, you know, and Bob's your uncle. You got a pretty inside as well. There we go. So pretty. Adding a few more here. Whoops. There we are. And then I'll add another one. And there you have it. So, you know, kind of fun and easy shaker cards. There, we're adding another couple on this, another one on this one, because I did have a few extras. So those are my 4 cards. Now, to make my little hearts look more like embellishments, I'm going to use some glossy accents on all of them. Now, you'll notice in the end pictures, some of them look a little bit rough. So I'll probably go back and give it another coat, you know, a little later. Just make sure they dry, you know, until they're completely dry. You don't want to be messing with them. You know, put them off to the side to dry. Don't touch them. And then there you go. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jada Blossom blog, Be Inspired by the Team, the Jada Blossom store to get your hands on these amazing products. And thanks as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Make sure you are a follower over at the Jada Blossom YouTube site and the Leanne K YouTube site, and you'll be notified when new videos are coming. Thanks everybody. Bye.